Buongiorno. The sounds of the clock at noon. A little later start to my day. My girlfriend is leaving out this afternoon, but essentially I am going to spend it just exploring and enjoying, because life should be taken step by step, one moment by one moment. No rush. And behind my Airbnb, such pretty little area. To get my biscotti. Right around the corner. Nice and convenient. Here we are. Ciao, grazie. These are my favorite because they have the marmellata and they're gluten-free. And Alessandro, he said they have cherry, but he didn't have them today, so he teased me. Next time, though, I'll be back. I promise. Thank you. I love feeling like a local. Like, when you immerse yourself in an environment, you become a local if you allow yourself. And so that was a nice little conversation. There was a man standing up to the side, and he was, "What is that?" He was very curious as I was getting what I was getting. And I said everything in Italian, so it was interesting. But he asked in English, and I said, it's really, really good. And I like to find all these little specialties. So, yeah, I'll be back here again, I'm sure. More beautiful sights to see around my neighborhood. I'm going to go find my cappuccino now. Actually, I'm going to also get some figs, because you know me, I got to have my figs. And hopefully in Portugal, where I'm staying, they'll have figs in season as well. That's part of my anticipation for tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Oh, the smells. It's a shame you don't get to smell what I smell walking down the alleyways as restaurants are preparing food for the afternoon lunch, or buffets, or not buffets, but as we would say in the States, brunch. Yes. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Delicious fresh food in my tummy. Actually, what I'm looking forward to in Brazil would be some new cuisines and flavors, and just getting to know the land again. So let us see. This one looks interesting. Oh, so we got a push. And we get operational area. che bella giornata, con caffè, un cappuccino grande, un biscotti. The best way to start your day. You know, just looking up, different perspective. This old wrought iron. Yeah, of course, could use a little scraping and painting. But couldn't we as well? Isn't it funny that people can find things outside of themselves that don't realize what's inside is what it really portrays because we attract where we're at. So if you're looking to fix something externally, it's essentially the avoidance of fixing what you need to fix within internally. Look at this door. Here we go, doors galore, right? Another, look at the faces. Ugh. Sometimes it's just so funny capturing these images. Wow. Romeo, Romeo, where art thou? Pour out thou, Romeo. Something of that nature. I'm not looking for Romeo. I'm magnetizing. Draw it into you, you know. Instead of push marketing, it's pull, attract marketing. You want to change your life? You got to start within. Everything else is just a reflection of what's going on within you. So therefore, stop looking to fix things outside of yourself to make yourself feel comfortable. That's actually the opposite of what you want to do. When you recognize something external, see that as a sign of what needs to be worked on within internally. You know? Everything is just mirroring back, and if you're triggered, that's your work to do. Hotel La Forcola. Here we go, going over the bridge. Those cute little windows. People all around. Watch this. Look at these windows. Heading to find my figgies. Should I get another one of these cute little bags? They're so cute. They got different colors to choose from too. I like the sage green, but I don't need it. Look at this, pretty mauve. Yeah. You know how it is. When you find something, you always think, I should have gotten more than one. Yeah, I'm good. I've got white and, actually the cream's cool, but I've got white and this color, mauve. Onward bound. They're everywhere. So I determined that after this beautiful last day, after reflecting upon the past couple weeks that I've been here, almost 2 weeks, that essentially it's been a revisiting of old patterns, very subtle and not reactive to them, but in observance of them. What am I talking about? So for example, if you're into human design, astrology, all that stuff, human design, I'm a generator. So I'm essentially a battery. People feed off my energy, and I've never realized how much. And it's been given voluntarily, but unconsciously. And when you're not in awareness, it's exhausting, because you should only give what comes natural. Nothing out of obligation. If you're doing something with any apprehension or resistance, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. You have to have and come from an open heart. If it doesn't come from an open heart, it's just like power versus force. It's not an innate power. It's a force. What is force? It's anything that has resistance, meaning it doesn't come naturally. There's no ebb and flow. So in this awareness, I've always been a giver, but it came from an old childhood wound of trying to keep the peace and make sure everybody's happy so that there's no upset. and at the expense of myself. So I would be uncomfortable in a situation where others were uncomfortable. And notice this in yourself, because this is really common. When you notice someone else is getting flustered, upset, agitated, how does that feel in your body? Do you get triggered by others' discomfort? Do you get triggered by others' anger or upset? Are you someone who fight, flight, freezes, or fawns because that's the stress response? Because essentially when you get triggered by someone else, you go into your stress response, you go into your trauma response. It's your coping mechanism. It's your, what's the first thing you think of doing or feeling and retreating? Because I've done a little bit of all of them. I have been known to withhold, to withdraw, to, as we say, curl within. You know, we become, we're either expanding or contracting at all times. So notice if you feel your body contract or expand, or if you have sensations in your throat, in your back, in your neck, in your stomach, because these are all signs. You got to learn your body's language, because there's wisdom in it, and it's always communicating to you what you need to do and what needs your attention. So if there's a discomfort in your body, if you're being triggered, your body is saying, hey, hello, something's not right here. We're picking up on an old trauma. And the moment that happens, that's an opportunity for growth. And so you should take that and harness that wisdom, that body wisdom, because that's what that is. It's your navigation system. So what you do is you acknowledge it and you work with it. You don't resist it, because the moment you start resisting it and ignoring it and denying it, you cause more of it. You know, it's like the ball pushing down in the water. So when you're pushing that ball down in the water, it's going to come back up even more powerful every time you do it, because there's resistance. Your resistance against the natural flow of that water. So yeah, that was an old pattern to where I would jump to make everyone else feel comfortable, because I didn't feel comfortable with their discomfort. Instead, it's better to sit back, be in awareness, and see what this is where meditation comes in. So meditation allows you to slow down and be the witness to your own response, reaction. Doesn't mean you go into the actual reaction, that you can sit back as that neutral observer, like, wow, I get that, I see that. Let me unpack this. Let me be curious. Lean in with curiosity. Feel into what sensations are rising. Breathe in to slow down and calm the nervous system, because that's the nervous system that you need to strengthen. If you don't have a strong nervous system, that's where freak out happens. That's where the reaction happens. If you can slow yourself down in those moments, calm yourself, you can claim yourself. And so during this trip, you know, I'm witnessing other people's patterns and behaviors, and I'm not here to therapize or, you know, to counsel anyone. I'm just here to be in observance, but also through the experience, witness myself. Because you have to have compassion for yourself first before you can have compassion for anyone else. You can turn around and be in awareness of everybody else's shit and totally unaware of your own. And that's the majority of the population, is people are running around, they want to act like they know everybody else, but they don't even know themselves. So we're not here to do that for each other. Everybody has their own work to do. It's up to you to be true to you. So when you see someone else triggering you, be compassionate for yourself, because that is your awareness of something in you. What you think you see in another also exists in you. And it's either been your past, present, or future. So if you point a finger and you notice someone, hey, you're doing this, you got 3 fingers pointing back at you, baby. That's your opportunity for growth right there. If you're noticing it in another, when is it happening in your past? Is it currently happening in your present? Is it going to happen in your future? That's a different perspective and a different way of looking at it. So I know for myself, again, I like to keep the peace. I like to make sure everyone else is taken care of. But on this particular trip, I realized, wow, I may have overlooked my own needs of being taken care of at a couple points during the trip. And that's okay. I did stand my ground in the very beginning when I had some issues with my flatmate, who tried to take control and act like he could dictate when we had already made a mutual agreement. You know what? I just went back to, listen, this was the agreement. We're not changing it. We just need to resolve it here and now. Keep it simple. He was making it more challenging. He was creating the stress, and then he proceeded to say, oh, this is so stressful, blah, blah, blah. I'm having a breakdown. I'm like, you're the one who created this. It's very simple. We just resolve what we agreed upon, and everybody is stressed less. But this is what people don't understand. If you are stressed, is it possible that you're the one creating it? It's not the externals, it's the internals. Just like when people create obstacles in their own path, instead of moving things, they put things in front of themselves. So, yeah, listen to your body. What you feel is an indicator. It's your guidance system. And so, I had my last lesson, and I will be sticking to that from now forward, because life is too short. I can also take care of others to the point where it doesn't hinder me, and I can also be compassionate with an open heart, lovingly expressing my needs as well. And that we're not here to always coddle or enable, especially not enabling bad behavior. Yeah. Great awarenesses in a beautiful city where the energy and the philosophy of life is to work to live, not live to work. All right, I'm checking out this. I was hoping I could make it as a fanny pack, but apparently you can put it at an angle across your chest. Apparently I'm too skinny, which is kind of funny because maybe people are just too big. Sorry, true story. Well, this is the alternative way to do it, and then I could lengthen the strap, but I don't want anything across my chest. It's kind of like trying to avoid that. I already have this one. And I'm back for figs. Straight back to my favorite spot, figs. They're waiting for me. They have my name on them. See them? See them? Yeah, there we are. This will be my last trip here. Yeah. They were definitely picked over, so we got 6 for €2.54. Look at all those tasties. You got bellinis, crema di pistacchio, crema di cioccolato di rum, crema di limone, crema di pesca, and limoncello, which is actually kind of funny because up here in the north, it's the grappa that's popular. Limoncello is more of the south, which I have made with friends. A lot of fun to do. Definitely a process. Pizzeria, ristorante Povoledo. So beautiful just to capture those quick glimpses that I think a lot of tourists get so overwhelmed they don't slow down enough to recognize. Now I'm going to go in here and grab a couple more of those little pastries for the road tomorrow, because they're so good. So there they are. There we go, da portare, takeaway. And so I go back to when you are faced with a crisis, with an obstacle, with a challenge in life, choose your words wisely, because your words cast spells, because they carry vibration, and your thoughts are your currency. You literally are the banker, and you are paying for your experience. So what you anticipate, you create. Don't deny yourself your truth. You can act like, oh, that's not what I meant, that's not what I was saying, this is blah, blah, blah. Be more intentional with the words you speak, with the thoughts you think, with the life you live. If you want a better life, you have to think better. Because when you know better, you can do better. But to ignore where you're at creates more of that. So sometimes we have a tendency to ignore the details, and that creates our resistance. You know, that is the resistance, the push-pull of
Well, this is what I want, but I don't feel worthy of it. I am thinking positive thoughts. You know, affirmations are great, but if you don't believe them, if you don't feel them, they're irrelevant. So you actually literally, and that's why embodiment is so important. You got to feel it to reveal it, to heal it. So when you feel it, because that is the reality, feeling is real. Feel is real. It's not the mind. The mind is the one that creates the drama trauma. The body is your truth teller. It is always going to tell you what is real, and it's going to challenge the mind, because we've been taught to think that any type of sensation in our body is a bad thing. Just like I said before, if you don't learn who you are, what runs your program, then how can you know your truth? The deeper you know yourself, the deeper you'll know others. You'll be able to discern, because your truth indicator, your body will tell you. It will go off like sirens. Hello, hello, pick up, pick up, pick up. Because the misalignment in the mind just shows you a misalignment in the body. When the body is vying for your attention, because it has tension, discomfort, it's just pointing out a thought that doesn't align with your truth. And that is why they use kinesiology. Yeah. Whiz-bits, little nuggets of wisdom from a beautiful country and city. Oh, and remember another important thing, because most people are calling themselves this, that, or the other. Labels limit you. If you are limiting yourself by a restriction, a box, any label that you use, I'm fat, I'm skinny, I'm tall, I'm short, this always happens to me, I have this disease, I have cancer, I have X, Y, or Z. When you use those limits, those labels, you put yourself in a box. Not only that, but you restrict yourself, and you create that resistance once again, because you're limitless. You're infinite potentiality. You can do anything. But why would you want to limit yourself to something you don't even want? You claim you desire one thing, yet you say another. Intentionality, integrity, it's about aligning with your desires. You know, you hear so much in the personal development realm about align yourself to your dreams and your wants, your wishes, and all that. Well, that's what that is. It's about embodiment. It's not telling one story and living another. It's aligning the two, making them your reality. How do I do that? Step by step, day by day, moment by moment, being present to the gift of the now. That is you. Breathing, slowing down, being present to what you're feeling in every moment, what you're thinking. That's what meditation is. Meditation is single-minded focus. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged. You could be walking. Like, that's what my daily walks are for me. They're reflective. And as I speak to you and share with you what it is that I'm reflecting upon, I'm talking it out. I'm expressing. This is my meditation in motion. And when I used to be a runner, that was my meditation in motion, my meditative movement. And I hated having to stop running, honestly, because it was just so, the pitter-patter, the sound of my own beating heart, the breath rhythm, and it would go with my feet and my arms swinging and the breath and the wind and the smells and the sounds. And for me, that's how I would meditate years ago. So although I hadn't yet gotten as deep into the work I do now, I was always finding my own intuitive sense without a label, without having to call it spirituality, without having to put myself into some category or a box. And in fact, ever since I was a little girl, I never fit into any boxes anyway, and I knew that. I didn't belong to any particular cliques. I've always hung around with all sorts of different walks of life, different people, inspired and in awe of the uniqueness that each one of us has and we bring to this life. It really truly is like, wow, you inspire me. You know, I see people with tattoos. Now, I'm not a tattoo person, but that doesn't mean I'm going to poo-poo on someone and say, ooh, that's gross. Because remember this too, when you judge another, you break your own heart because it's a reflection of yourself. You're projecting out on them. If you say, oh, I don't like that, that's like the boomerang effect. You're saying that you don't like that about yourself. You're comparing yourself at all times. Whenever you make a judgment, you are comparing yourself to others. Oh, no, I'm not. I've heard that. People say they're not, but it's a trauma response. Look at me, I'm better than you. Whenever you make a judgment, you're essentially saying, I'm comparing myself to you. I would never do that. I don't like that about you because I wouldn't do that for myself. You know what? Unshackle yourself from that need to be better, to prove yourself, because that's what that is. It's an old childhood wound of, I have to prove myself. And sometimes people think in an unconscious way that they prove themselves by comparing themselves every day. Comparing themselves to situations, person, places, things, events, situations. This is where I am in life. Oh, I achieved this, that, and the other. I'm at this level in life. And look at those poor people. Like, that's the worst one. When I hear people say things like, oh, those poor people. Did you see? All I hear is, I couldn't. That would devastate me if I had to live like that. Stop and think about that. Do you do that? I'm guilty of it, or I wouldn't notice it. I've done it. I've actually had to stop myself and go, oh, look at you. You're comparing yourself to somebody you think is worse off than you, but the reality is they may be better off than you. You're just assuming, making an ass out of you and me. You know, that's what assume means. That just because you think someone is less than or doesn't have what you have, or maybe has more than you, because then there's that opposite, right? Oh, those rich people. Oh, I couldn't imagine. Why would anybody want to buy that? It's also reflecting, I don't feel worthy of it. So if I put them down, it brings me up. It's a really poor psychology, and it doesn't serve anyone. The idea that you pull someone down to lift you up, that is force. That is you trying to make something out of nothing. And what you really want to do is lift people up. You should be lifting people to your level or higher. It's less exhausting, believe it or not. Most people are exhausting themselves by trying to bring everyone down to their level or below. If you really want to live your life authentically in a higher vibration, you need to consider opening your heart, expanding it, and bringing in others who need your light. Shine that bright. Illuminate the good in others. Don't highlight their faults. Don't look for their shadow, because you're just finding your own shadow, and that's your work to do, not theirs. And only you can do it for you, not for anyone else. Try that on for size. It really is about bringing each other to a higher place. So highlight the positive, stop looking for the negative, because what you seek, you shall find. It really is that simple. Yeah. It's one of the things I love about the new moon, full moons, these huge, powerful times we're living in. It's just all this insight that drops in for me through my experiences and all the years, you know, life. I'm only 48. I don't even believe in numbers. I don't believe in age. I don't believe in getting old. I don't believe in, oh, my body, it's got these issues. I'm just getting older. Fuck that shit. Excuse my French, but not. Sorry, not sorry. I choose to be youthful and to continually Stay young, forever young. I'm gonna be forever young. You know, you get to choose that. Again, that goes back to the labels and limitations. If you buy into the story, then you're gonna live that life. Where attention goes, energy flows. So pay attention to your focus and get crystal clear on your focus. Don't blur out. Don't go into habits and routines. Be conscious. Open your heart and be intentional with your days. Make your life a prayer, a living prayer. Meditation in motion. Continually seeking to elevate and expand. Illuminate your light, shining ever so bright.
The door. And where does it lead? With this lion holding the knocker. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. Especially when I make people laugh around me. They may be laughing, but I'm giddy inside like a little child because look at these. These are so gorgeous. You could look at this building and go, oh, it's kind of boring. But you know what I see? I see the textures of the fresco on top of, or the tufo, you know, that stuff that they use on the outside over the brick, and these amazing wrought iron window protectors. Like, look at the detail and all that. This is what I'm saying. They don't have this beauty, this pride and workmanship and art. Like, those are the years and the days of art. Everything was art. The buildings, the facades, the details, the frescoes, you know? Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go take a nice walk. I'm gonna go check out my Ali Laguna time frame of when I need to be over there. I'm gonna map my direction down to where I have to take my luggage because I leave tomorrow. I have to get out of the house probably about 9:30 because my flight's at like 12:55. And I don't wanna trust the last minute movement, if you know what I mean. So there's more of those wrought iron window covers.
All right, coming from my Airbnb, we are going to do a happy little walk. It's 350 meters according to the GPS. So let's see how long it takes me to get over there. I'll have to remember that I have to go across this with all of my luggage. Go through here, turn left, straight down all the way. All the way down here. See, last time I somehow was concerned about all this with my bags. You know, when you're pulling two bags behind you, it's a little bit awkward, especially when you have a little narrowness here. So, but I'll make it work. Always do. Life is about adaptability, flexibility, because when we are faced with adversity in life, it's how you handle it that matters most. Whether you're in the freak out mode, Ave Maria. Are you in freak out mode all the time? Or are you like a chameleon? I consider myself more like a chameleon. I adapt to my environment. Sotto porteggio Molin. Ooh, cool. I am also tripping down here because I'm looking up and not down. You gotta be careful where you're walking. That's the other side. Fondamente, San Caterina. And this guy over here is just chatting away. So I should be going up and down 1 bridge, 2 bridge, 3 bridge. I see. 1 from the Airbnb. The second one behind me. 3rd one. Okay. That's 3 bridges so far. I want to say there might be a 4th. I'm trying to pick up the speed because all I'm getting is what sounds like a form of Arabic. not trying to listen to someone's conversation. It's a little bit distracting from my own train of thought. See, there's an example. This morning, when I was in the bathroom getting ready, I don't know, somebody had their child outside of the Airbnb because it's a side street and there's that little courtyard. Anyway, I felt for the baby, but man, the pitch, you know, sometimes, and it hits that eardrum and you're like, whoa, what is going on out there? So far this is only taking a few minutes. Not so bad. Look. All that gorgeous wrought iron. This is where I'm coming from. Oh, another door. Secret gardens, right? What does it have in store? Yeah, 5008. Calle del Melengrano. Yeah. There was a party that we were at this past week. My girlfriend's friend M-Joy is a DJ. She was the top DJ. But we had to go back to let the other people into the room, unfortunately. That held us back a little bit. So we were late. We missed the main part of the event where she played the main set, as well as, unfortunately, any type of appetizers. So that was, you know, actually we've gotten into several events with invitations, but some of these events, and it's not something I would go running around saying, oh my gosh, I was here and I was there. It's like, honestly, I don't feel I live in this space anymore. Oh yeah, we got a choppy day because the full moon, the tide. Ooh, the moon pulls on the water, hence your emotions, energy and motion. Yeah. So most of what this trip has reminded me is there was a time when I was big into the acting, modeling. You know, I was a Miss Maine Teen pageant runner-up. I was in the top 10. I did Barbizon School of Modeling. I did some acting school stuff. Then I went in the military, and I did a little, you know, modeling photography while I was in service too, surprisingly. And also when I was doing fitness. But when it boils down to it, that's just not my life anymore. I mean, I love to adapt to my environment. I know I can become whatever role, because we are all actors playing on the stage of life, and all the world's a stage if you really get down to it. You can be who or whatever you want. You can put on a mask and you can be someone else. That's what we all do to a certain degree. Just people don't see it that way. It's a different perspective. And it's about being mindful of your patterns, being mindful, period. In awareness with your key, unlocking the door to the mysteries of your life. Yeah. So, there is one more bridge that it appears I will have to traverse over. See that big bridge up there? Because this, and although this might be the Alle Laguna right here, so maybe I don't have to go over that bridge. And if that's the case, thank God. I hope I don't. Because I have to go over another bridge with 2 big suitcases and my purse. Ugh. You know, once in a while you also meet beautiful people who will pick up your bags for you, but not always. I do think it's this one, so that's perfect. So when I initially arrived, I walked down by this church over here. This is Salizzata dei Specchieri. See that church over there? Something smells yummy. It smells like, bruschetta with melted cheese is what it smells like. It smells good. Hey, you know, I don't eat that much cheese anymore. I especially wasn't eating dairy for many, many years. It does create phlegm. Everything in moderation. So, to go to the airport when I come back here, this is ACTV, this is the main, but what I need is the Alle Laguna. So this is where I'm going to go back to the airport. And from here, this is where we are right now. Voi siete qui, you are here. There are 2 stops to get to the airport. So, It says 46 minutes.
However, this will take us to 3 o'clock.
So the question is, what time? If I leave the apartment from the airport to the railways, from the railway to the airport, so this right here tells you the timetable. If I leave my apartment, actually it'd be better if I leave at 9 o'clock, because then I should be here in time to catch the 9:33, and then I should reach the airport after that. So the airport should arrive 9:33. Yeah, that works out actually. So it'll arrive the airport at 10:20. Perfectly. Okay. Well, that's about a 5-minute walk without 5 to 6 minutes without any luggage. And then you just go in here and catch the Alle Laguna, the airport transportation. I've already paid for my ticket. I probably just need to give them €3 for the extra bag. But essentially, I'm covered. 46 minutes to get to the airport. Get there at 10:20. My flight is at 12:55. When I check in, I go sit in the lounge and relax. So, there we go. Now I know what I need for tomorrow. Little walkways. I love these little bridges, capturing these moments. So this is coming back from the Alle Laguna, where I'll be catching it tomorrow morning. And like I said, it'll probably take me about 15 minutes with all the walking across the bridges with all my luggage. If there's any obstacle, it's going to be this portion of the street because of all the boards and the uneven pavements. So yeah, see, if you just look down, it's like, okay, that will be interesting. Like I've got 2 bags, one big one small one, my purse, and of course my little foodie bag, which hopefully I can minimize that and maybe even attach that to one of the bags. Yeah. So, again. Pericolo di inciampo. In progress. No? It's pericolo di inciampo. Like it's dangerous, you can fall. Obviously you can figure that out just looking at the picture. My pronunciation was just tongue-tied. More doors. All right, going back. So from the second bridge, this is a little bit more narrow. And then I'll go over there and over the next bridge and back to my Airbnb. So this was a very simple walk and not trying to rush. It took me less than 10 minutes. I might find myself a restaurant. I don't know. I'm playing it by ear. Antico Dolce. Sunday. The day of rest. Unless you're a tourist and you're in a touristy city. It's kind of funny. Yeah. The gondolas. Another connector, so beautiful. So, how sweet is that? You can have a nice canal side lunch, dinner, enjoyment. If I eat somewhere, I kind of went in the direction of a restaurant I wanted to try, so I figured, what the heck? Why not go in this direction? Yep. Smells like pasta. Smells like sugo sauce. Yeah. It's a nice breeze too. Oh my gosh, I need that. Needed a breeze. Hopefully it's not too much in the video. That's why the earbuds come in handy sometimes. It should be right here. Ristorante. I wonder why I put this on my list. I don't even remember. It looked nice. Maybe I saw it from the other side. Menu of the day. Let's see what they got. Nah. If anything, I would like a salad. And I saw a lot of really good menus for salads last night. So I'd have to find my way around, but again, this is a piazza. I like the side alleys, the streets. I like to find the hidden places. I am sure what is meant for me will find me as I am exploring. All the lions. And door knockers. That would be so cool. Where can you find yourself today? Antica Segresta. Ooh, this looks nice. Sometimes I think I'm all alone and I get to explore, and then I seem to have like a crowd behind me. That was funny. I had a whole entourage of people walking behind me, and I ended up down a dead end next to a canal. That was entertaining. And then when I turned around and I walked back, they just acted like they were walking in the same direction, and now they're right behind me again. Yeah, it must be my aura. I pick up people along the way. I'm not looking to pick up anybody. I should put that out there. My intention is to keep a clear space and maintain sacredness in my space. So, yeah, I'm gonna find something. Come fly away, come fly away, come fly away with me. Or the pigeon over my head. That would have been cool if I captured that pigeon just as he flew toward me. Oh yes. Trattoria alla Rivetta. Servizio gondola. €100 for 35 minutes. €80. 30 minutes max. People for the gondola. Interesting. I guess they have night tours are more expensive. I've never done that, honestly. Would be kind of cool, but I wouldn't do it alone. So, we are coming up on, this is, again, oh, that's pretty over there. Oh yeah, I like this little walk path. All the languages, all the sounds. Insalata. San Zaccaria, I believe, is where we're nearby. There you go. Sights and sounds. The garden terraces are always the best. Get out of the streets and go up to the rooftops. That might be what I need to do. Now that's an idea. Again, I like this building over here. So cool. And here we are back in the San Marco area, San Zaccaria. It's where most crowded, of course. That's the real story behind all the statues, right? All the wars fought, all the people conquered, so somebody could be ruled over. And it boils down to it, the only thing war is about control. Isn't it sad? And yes, here I am speaking from a military perspective. I would like to think that I have a little bit of first-hand knowledge from it. Personal experience speaks mountains, even if we don't want to admit it. You can ignore it all you want, but the reality is we participate in it all, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Even if you don't want to admit it, you're a part of it, because what you don't heal within creates the chaos and the controversy and the wars around the world. So it's all aspects of ourselves. Now, that doesn't make it good or bad. It's just awareness in it. And that, again, when you see something, if you're triggered and you notice something negative, then that's probably an aspect within yourself that you need to heal, because you can't see something outside of yourself that doesn't already exist within yourself. I know today apparently is just one of those days where I'm just in that mode of full-on awareness because of all the stuff I've been reflecting upon in my life overall, and which ways I can better serve and be my most authentic self. None of this wishy-washy, oh, look at me. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to say, hey, this is the life I care to lead. This is the inspiration that I want to see, because inspiration is spirit, is to take it in, right? Respirare, reflection. It's like that, again, it's receptivity, because what you inhale has to be exhaled, and what you exhale has to be re-inhaled. So when we talk in terms of flow and receptivity, everything is going in, going out, expansion, contraction, contrast, duality. You cannot deny that we are so connected that we're breathing all the same air. So whether you want to put a piece of cloth across your face and act like bacteria, germs, and all that, the reality is that's energy. It's not that it is going to hurt you, harm you. It's your mindset around it that does. Dis-ease starts in the mind, not outside of you. If you're influenced by it, it's because it was already inside of you. It just inspired, it brought it out of you. So think about that. Anything that you want to say, oh, you know, that bothers me. Well, yeah, it bothers you. And the reason it bothers you is because you're not confronting it within yourself. So it shows up outside of you. And when it shows up outside of you, it's to ignite it from within, meaning bring it to surface so that you can actually heal that. Imagine. So whatever you want to heal on the outside, you have to go inside. So, again, we attract where we're at, and when something shows up outside of us, it's to inspire, to breathe within us the life that we've been neglecting, ignoring. It's just all different perspectives and different ways of looking at life. If you want to see justice in the world served, you have to work on the justice within you. You know, I was looking at my life with the whole situation with Buddy, and unfortunately, you know, I have to take a different route, and I see all this injustice in the world, of course, but you can only do so much. And if you get so attached to righting the wrongs, when will you right your life? So, you know, we choose our battles, we choose our peace. If I decide to continue to, woe is me, then I play the victim, and it has control over me. But if I recognize, okay, well, I did what I could, is there more? You know, I go within, I go, is there more I can do in this situation? I consult with my higher power, my source, my soul, because I believe that our soul is that not external. So I feel that the body can only house a certain amount of energy of your soul, that our soul is so big, it cannot inhabit our bodies. So when we talk about energy upgrades, you know, all these awakenings and spiritual enlightenments and such, all that is you clearing the space. When you heal yourself just a little, it opens up the door for more of your soul to enter. So when you're going through a crisis, when you're going through a spiritual crisis, you're healing, you're doing the shadow work. You clear the shadow so more light can get in. You illuminate, you put attention where there's tension. And then you yourself are allowing more of your soul to enter your human being, because we are essentially souls having a human experience. So if you can take it from that perspective, that you're always just clearing space, allowing for more of you to inhabit this human vessel. That's one way to look at it. Not everybody's going to see it from the same perspective, but I believe that our souls are infinite. And unfortunately, this physical matter that we call our bodies is somewhat contained. I'm not saying it's not infinite, it may be. But in this particular incarnation, that's what we're working with. And when you get smarter and you know better, you do better. Do things smarter, not harder. I made a song. Gotta do things less, gotta do things smarter. Do them less harder. Do what you want. Stop the fight. Yeah, there's more to it. Anyway, enough of my silliness over here. I need some sunshine anyway. Vitamin D. You know, technically sunglasses don't protect your eyes. They actually just keep you from absorbing the sun, which you need to take in through your eyes. Okay, so here's a beautiful restaurant / hotel that I went to the other day for my cappuccino. It's brand new, 1 year old. Vero, Venetian roots. Yeah. Tell me what you know, what you think, if this inspired you in some way. As far as, do you believe, what is your belief around the soul? Like, what is your experience around spiritual awakening and growth? Because everybody has one, and they're not the same. And don't ever ask somebody, hey, what was your growth? What was your awakening? Because when I say don't ask in sense of don't compare yourself, because there's so many times when somebody will say, when did you know? How did you know? And I'm like, I've always known. For me, since I was a little girl, it's a memory, it's a feeling, it's a sense. Again, embodiment. You gotta know by feeling. And then there's this beautiful building, and I had to stop and take a picture. Or I should say, a video. Oh, the doors. The doors are gorgeous. I'm not taking as many pictures as I usually do. I used to be such an avid picture taker, and I used to post them to Facebook. But when my original Facebook account got deleted 3 years ago, right after my appendectomy, I realized, you know what? I'm going to do less pictures. I'll do more video. Because when it boils down to it, I do more video anyway. And it's nice because I get to document my life. And quite often, if I do go back and I listen to some of my videos, I'm quite surprised. I don't know if you all go through this where you're like, oh wow, I said that. You know, that was wise of me. So now we're over at Arsenale. I'm going to cross the bridge. Yeah, I quite often am impressed by my past words. I think we all should be reflective and pay attention that we have so much wisdom in us. And, you know, again, collective collaboration, consciousness, we're all connected. So nothing is really truly original. We're all doing it together on an energetic level, whether you want to believe it or not. Part of the problem, part of the solution, it's the same. It's again, it's duality. It's polarity. Can't have one without the other. You wouldn't have a solution if there wasn't a problem, and you wouldn't have a problem if there wasn't a solution. And when you start to realize that, and you look at the world a little differently, this too shall pass. There'll be ups, there'll be downs. It's all to balance out to the neutrality. And the more we come back to the neutrality, the 0 point, the void, the more we can create. And so it continues the cycle of life. Name that language. Oh yes, now I'm getting flashbacks of the last time I was probably here, which is always fun. Lots of restaurants on the left over here. Yeah. So straight ahead's the garden. There's some really good looking places to eat. I'm not really hungry at this second, so we could look at it from that perspective. It allows me to keep moving. Work up an appetite. Venice by night, Vivaldi, Sunset Jazz Cruise, Spritz Tour, Midday Breeze. Oh, that sounds lovely. From 6 o'clock, there's a Sunset Jazz Cruise. Yeah, I don't drink. That's what makes it interesting. You know, free drinks. I think that's big. Oof, look at the size of that. That thing is huge. Yeah, I didn't even inquire. I don't know whose boat that is. Back in the day when Paul Allen used to come, he would always have boat parties on the Tatoosh. I'm sure some of you know which I'm talking about. And it's one of my friends who happened to pass away this past year used to be a captain on his ships. And the Tatoosh as well, he told me. I was like, that's funny. He didn't even ask me, but I told him, I'm like, oh, I know which one you're talking about. Because he'd always come to the Venice Film Festival. This is gorgeous. This is massive. Wow. It's a lot of maintenance. It's definitely a big boat. Actually, we call that a yacht, not a boat, so. Sailors are pretty particular. Yep. But over here, look at the size. Like, this thing dwarfs the existing structures. Wow. So over the bridge over here is the garden, which is where I wanted to go anyway, because I figured, you know, I go enjoy a nice walk along the garden. Pleasant, away from crowds mostly, especially on a Saturday or Sunday. Oh, today's Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday, and I fly out. Can you guess where I'm headed next, or did I already tell? Do you remember? Looky, look. To me, this is cool. The moss. Last night was really nice. I captured a guy who was taking pictures with the reflection of the water in San Marcos, so I took a couple shots myself. Yeah. This is Venice in September. There is a little villa over here that I remember that I loved. Might have been this one, but I remember going over the bridges and being like, wow, that would be the ideal home. Right over by the garden with your own private terracing. How beautiful is that? I believe it is this one right here. Peaceful, away from the crowds, but yet close enough to the city center. Eee. How pretty, huh? And now we arrive at Giardini, the gardens. My shadow. Milk of Dreams, Biennale Arte 2022, 2022, Largo Marinai d'Italia. So down in Naples, ooh, you're being held up. Down in Bella Napoli, where I used to live. I used to walk my dog in Villa Comunale, where we had a doggy social, which was really nice. And that's where my dog Angel, she used to socialize. That's where she learned her voice, I should say. And see the rose hips, see the roses over here? So when I was living in Naples, I would pick the rose hips and put them in the olive oil, because you can make your own rose hip oil. And I remember there was a woman, non toccare I fiori, non toccare I fiori. She was telling me not to touch the flowers, but you know, if you don't prune the flowers, you know, you have to clean them off. You have to ripen them. Pruning is important. Whether it's me, the birds, nature, it's better if you have a little help sometimes and sometimes not. But it's just kind of comical to me how in some ways sometimes people feel like they need to control others to feel a sense of control in their own lives. So you just never know what's going on in someone's life. Yeah, it rained last night apparently. I did hear the rain pouring somewhere in the midst of my dreaming. It's nice and fresh in here. I'm on the further end of the garden now. Guglielmo Obredan. Yeah. It's interesting, as I was walking around, I saw this guy with the longest stick over his head with what looked like, what do you call those? GoPro. And I was like, wow, that's got to be interesting, carrying that over your arm, head. I mean, honestly, I think a phone is sufficient. But then again, sometimes that's awkward. And I'm not trying to be overly professional here. I'm just being spontaneous. That's what this whole adventure is, my spontaneous travels and adventures. So all these little videos are just clips of spontaneity as we come up to these pigeons hanging out, looking for their food. What are you doing? I disturbed their peace. They'll go find somewhere else. Here we are. Just a nice walk around the gardens and nature. Look, you are being watched. Security cameras. Doesn't feel so lovely when you have to consider those things. And go hug a tree. Ah, the smell of the pine trees is amazing. It smells so good. Peeny, ye peeny. Look at this. Textures, there you go. There's some serious texture there. And some serious history. Imagine, the smell is just, maybe you can just imagine the scent of pine needles as they're all over the ground, along with the pine nuts. Remember that the breath comes from the creation of nature, the oxygen. If it wasn't for the trees, CO2 is what we exhale, and then oxygen is what we inhale. And this is the lungs, the trees. As above, so below, but even infinitely below. The root structure is, 3 times the size of the actual branches above? Take a moment, just be grateful for the trees and the way that nature cleanses the air. So when we talk green, beware. Some of it's just for marketing. Some of it's to make you feel guilty. But if you just remember, nature was here long before us, and it will continue to cleanse and clear out all of our dust, literally ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We return, and we will end up giving them life. So think about that receptivity. The tree gives us the spirit of breath. It cleanses our exhale. It also is nourished by our ashes as we die, because we go back to the earth. We are symbiotic with nature. You cannot deny that. You can try. Yeah. Gratitude is where it's at. You want to heal the world? Heal yourself. I told you can't go anywhere without finding feathers at my feet. Remember that after the rain come the fungi. Fun guys. They're fun guys, do you know? Without the mushrooms, you would not have the network of communication. They are the original internet, interwoven communicators of nature. How cool is that? Oops, and I'm stepping on them too. Look at that. That's a big mushroom. I will admit I don't know what kinds they are and if they're edible, but they may be. We are in the land of fungi. How cool is that? And of course, they are around the big old trees, so most likely, yes, they are edible. There's some big mushrooms. That's cool. I love it. Can't make it up. Heading back. Actually, I may take a moment and just sit on this nice bench and just take in this fresh air. Well, I just enjoyed a lovely afternoon just sitting in the garden. Sometimes that's all you got to do, is just be. Just breathe. I think I'll go back, change my clothes, go find a beautiful restaurant to treat myself to tonight. Because I'm worth it and I deserve it. We're all worth it. We're all worthy. We don't have to prove ourselves. No explanations, no stories necessary, although that tends to be a habit for many of us. Especially when, oh, that's a cute little spot. Especially when we're coming from old traumas where we were taught to give but not receive. Are you somebody who feels worthy of receiving, or are you always giving so that you don't feel abandoned? There's another one. Old abandonment issues. Fear of rejection, abandonment tends to cause us to constantly seek to prove ourselves, to give to others so that they will like us, to do things for them that maybe we wouldn't normally do, to compromise ourselves. We need to be more consciously aware of why we do what we do, and not just doing unconsciously, because that's an old habit, I'm sure. Many of us have just walked through their lives in ritual routine without any concern or worry about themselves. I've been that person, doing for others, and then realizing at some point I get frustrated, build up resentment, which in itself causes the friction in relationship. And when you don't speak up and you let it fester and it lingers longer in your heart, in your soul, it eats away like a cancer. So that's what cancer is, eating you up from the inside out. You know? Whew. So you have to learn to discern healthy boundaries and expectations, because really that's one of the biggest root causes of suffering, is expectations and attachments to outcomes. Yep, been there, done that. I can only speak from personal experience, I say that for sure. Cute. Oh, to be young. I feel young. I don't feel old. Yeah. Keep on trucking. Just making my way back in the direction of my Airbnb. It's after 6 o'clock in the evening, so your typical tourists who go out to eat before will all start descending upon the restaurants, as we say. And I have to decide, where will I eat tonight? Oh yes, beautiful, beautiful. Moving toward the sun, in the direction of the sun. Kind of makes me laugh because it's just such a beautiful place, and you can miss out on all these little details and be blinded by the light, literally. I think that's where we all are trying to find our way, illuminating life in a way that you don't miss a beat, and keeping the balance, stopping to smell the flowers, right? Beautiful. There's a pirate ship out there behind me. Local kids, right? They grew up here, I'm sure. Oh, look at these.
How's that?
Back to San Marco. Really, you could just spend a year here and get to know the ins and outs of Venice, and that would be absolutely amazing. A couple days in Venice is never enough, even a couple weeks. But for me, I will say that I got just what I needed out of this trip. Revisiting the old Venice Film Festival, routine and experience, which was fun. I'm grateful. Would I do it again? I don't know. Where I'm at, I'm good. I'm good with all of that. And that architecture. Seagulls in their perches. Lots of souvenirs. Hey, they obviously make money or they wouldn't set it up. Lovers in Venice, I love it. Hey, listen, I'm a lover of love. I will celebrate anyone who has truly got the best love in their life, because people who are in love and they demonstrate it, they give us all hope that it does exist and it can happen. So don't be a negative Nancy or, you know, the type of person that doesn't believe in love, because, you know, we have to believe in something. If you don't believe in anything, you'll fall for anything, you know? That's funny. I like to capture some of these images sometimes just to have an appreciation. And it's all about perspective. Pictures, photo bombers. It's all entertainment to me. Like I said, all the world's a stage and we're all entertaining each other with our different personalities. Putting on our masks, creating our identities and characters with all those labels and limitations. At any time, you can change that. Yes, yes, that is the gift of life. Your ability to change and course correct. And always go in the direction that lights you up. Look at that sun. Nice. It's all the details that I love in this place. I ate here years ago. I want to look at the menu and see what they have for dinner. All right, so I went in because I was curious, and I have the menu. Some yummy stuff on it. And they're very accommodating because, of course, I always ask. Of course the Italians are accommodating. You have to. Still scoping out my restaurants on my walk back. But of course you have to see what's around in front of me. Because most of the restaurants are just beginning to open up now. I might have found my place. This is in Ai Reali. Alle Corone restaurant bar, really wellness bar. So I am going to check about getting a reservation. I believe the restaurant is straight back here. I was reading some reviews, and this is really sweet. So, restaurant reception, Michelin 2022. Yep, this is for me tonight. So I have booked my reservation for 1 at 8:15, unless something should change my mind along the way home, which is highly unlikely. Now, to go put something more appropriate on for a Michelin-rated restaurant. Yeah, I look like I'm in my bloomers. And we're back to the area close to Rialto as I find my way back to my Airbnb to change. Sunday madness. There's Rialto. Always cracks me up. People don't always look in front of them, as you can see. It's understandable because there's so much to get distracted by. But at the same time, there is an element of, again, embodiment. And that the more you are in your body, you will notice the sensation of someone coming close to you as opposed to being caught off guard. That's what it's about. Tapping into your senses so you're not caught off guard and acting out. That's a strong nervous system. That's what it's about. Last night in Venice, and I am all dressed up in my black dress. Heading to Alle Corone at Ai Reali Hotel. It's a Michelin-rated restaurant, and I'm excited to eat. I think it's an 8-course meal. Reservations in 5 minutes. It is really nice out tonight, so it turned out perfectly to wear this dress. Well, I just had a near encounter with somebody running his ass off around the corner, and like literally turned the corner, and he nearly ran into me. It was one of those pause and motion type deals. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, excuse me." Hope he's okay. We have finally arrived. It took me a little longer than I anticipated. I'm only 10 minutes late. That's okay. I think that's pretty good. Don't mind me. I'm hungry.
Grill, we do the grilled and the king prawns, crab. Up to you, up to you. Most important, you finish with the one. Last one. Crab.
And just a little appetizer.
Well, the one that you buy there, so you have some one that just comes out in some form of it's like a signal.
I have to say, the polenta slice with a little bit of like a creme was delicious. The other one, okay. And in case you're wondering, this is what you get for gluten-free. This is olive oil from Lago di Garda. Look at that color, gorgeous. And we'll be passing on the rice cakes and those crisps. But the bread, it's warm and it's pretty. You can see better in the light. The ambiance here is very dim, but it's pleasant. I think I'm liking the color of these forks. They have kind of I think it's the color in the light. So, it's an experience. You should try it. I love to eat. This is a rare occasion. This bread is really good, but especially good because this olive oil is really delicious. Que gusto. And here we have fish.
And passion fruit, burrata, yummy, yummy. See, this is life in moderation. Delicious, tasting flavors and savoring it. All right, don't even ask me to explain this because it's too challenging. But it looks good. And again, look at the olive oil. And the bread is really good for gluten-free. So time to dig in. Scallops and scalloped shrimps. Yum. I haven't eaten this in a long time, so don't judge me. I'm enjoying it because that's what life is about. We only live once. Now we have the risotto. This is rombo, which I believe is turbo fish, white fish. With fior di zucca, the flowers of the zucchini, carrots, and a special drizzle sauce. Yummy. This is a basilico sorbetto to cleanse my palate. So anybody who've never been to a restaurant that serves multiple courses, this is only a 6-course. I opted for less. They always serve something to cleanse your palate between meals. I'm almost the last table, but I gotta tell you, the little meringue crumbles are delicious. I don't normally do sugar, but this is really, really yummy. I can recreate this one. This is dessert with the gooseberry. There is a coffee cream in there. Oh my gosh, this is so delicious. Look at little slivers of chocolate, some pine nuts. Digging into this one. Did I mention I don't do dessert often? This is really good. Like, seriously. Those are pieces of meringue, and the pine nuts are like, I don't know how to explain it because you've probably never had it like this before. It's like a panna cotta. We have a sweet little treat. I do this at the ends of dinners. This brings back memories of when I was living in Naples, and me and my now ex used to go to Michelin restaurants all the time, actually. And you get the multi-courses. And this is all gluten-free. So this is rice with chocolate, and this is a bavarese with frutta di bosco, and this is, I think she said, ginger, and this one is a biscotti made of coconut. That'd be me. Dressing up fancy and free, happy, satiated, really good food, by the way. And this pretty, pretty bathroom, I just wanted to show you. I just stumbled upon here. No idea that I was gonna end up eating here tonight, but I really wanted to have an experience. And now, just to let you know, things get better in another unexpected way. So, look, my flight, I learned while I was in the middle of eating dinner. I was just scanning my emails to see if I might have had a check-in notice. It was canceled sometime earlier today. And apparently there's an Italian strike, which is the reason for it. A scheduled union strike. I forgot about this. It's a Mercury retrograde, renegades, shenanigans. So I requested my money back on that flight and had to rebook through another agent because otherwise I wasn't going to get a flight on that same airline. It's okay. It's all good. It always works out. But I am here once again for another night because of the delay. I have to leave Tuesday morning instead. But that's okay. You know why? Because it gives me one more day to appreciate and enjoy another day in Venice. It's kind of funny because my heart was pulled to Italy. It's almost like Italy doesn't want me to go. Like it's holding me hostage. Anyway, I just had to share that. I thought it was ironic and funny. Sort of.
Well, I thought it was interesting. I am back in the Airbnb. I've had a pretty good day. I was pretty grateful to be able to take myself to dinner. I'm worth every penny. It was absolutely delicious. Dessert was the bomb and the icing on the cake. But boy, I didn't expect, or maybe I manifested it. It's hard to say because I kept thinking my flight was on Tuesday. So when it was canceled for tomorrow because of a union strike, organized union strike, I was like, oh no. Fortunately, my Airbnb, I contacted my host and I'm okay until Tuesday morning. And then they have somebody coming in later that day. So tomorrow's the 12th and they have someone arriving on the 13th. So it's going to be a back-to-back. And hopefully everything's going to be fine from that point on. I could have booked the same flight that I booked for Tuesday, but then I wasn't going to chance it in case, because of the strike, it got canceled, because things like that happen. And I forgot about the strikes in Italy. I should know better. When I lived in Naples, it was a regular occurrence. Train strike, airline strike. It's just normal. È normale. On that note, I'm going to prepare myself for a nice rest because now I don't have to rush to pack my bags until tomorrow. That actually gives me some time to relax and unwind. No rush. See how the universe works out in your favor? If you see it that way, because that's how I see it. Even though I had to go through the booking and I had to cancel to get the refund on the other one, to book through another airline, it still worked out in my favor. Perception. It's your perception. It's the way you think and you see things. Find the silver lining, because I will every time, even if I have a mini meltdown or a temper tantrum. And I do that from time to time too, because I'm human still. But it's about emotional regulation and being clear. Gaining control over your emotions. Finding the calm in the chaos. Calm yourself, claim yourself. It's all good. It always works out. Think of all the times it didn't. It always did in the end anyway. Even when you think it didn't, there's still course correction in time. Sweet dreams.